You hit the gym 4 nights a week, maybe even more. You're glued to your phone, scrolling through workout ideas between sets, pushing absolutely hard. When you finally look in the mirror, the gains just aren't popping. Sounds familiar? Now, it's easy to blame genetics, wonder if your pre-workout isn't hitting right, or even question your effort. But let me tell you, it's probably none of these things. The real gatekeeper to your muscle growth, the one thing holding you back, is often the exercises you choose the moment you step onto the gym floor. Pick wrong, you'll burn calories, sure, but you just won't build the kind of muscle that will truly transform your physique. Pick right, and you can trigger more growth in one session than most guys see in an entire month. Today, we're putting an end to that endless internal debate, that paralysis by analysis, compound versus isolation. Which style truly builds muscle faster for a natural lifter? Stick with me until the very end, and you won't just walk away with the answer, you'll get simple, practical advice on how to structure your training using both. Now, finally, you'll start seeing that difference not just in the gym mirror, but in the shower mirror too. Ready to stop guessing and start growing? Let's dive right into it. Imagine 2 guys walking into the gym for leg day. Let's call them lifter A and lifter B. Lifter A heads straight to the squat rack. He loads 225 pounds onto that bar, takes a deep breath, and squats it for 4 sets of 8 reps, pushing hard on every single one. After that, he packs up and leaves, feeling thoroughly worked. Now, lifter B, he goes for the leg extension machine. He chases that burning sensation with 4 sets of 15 reps, really squeezing at the top. Then, for dessert, he hits the hamstring curl machine. He leaves sweaty too, feeling like he's done a solid workout. Both guys put in effort, but only one of them has truly triggered a systematic growth signal, turning his entire body into a muscle building furnace. That's the power of compounds. Research consistently shows that big multi-joint movement like squats spike post-workout testosterone and growth hormone by significant amounts. Single joint isolation movements simply don't replicate that kind of systematic hormonal response. Now, this hormonal bump isn't just magic fairy dust that instantly creates muscle out of thin air, but it absolutely does open the anabolic window wider for every muscle you own, not just the quads you've hammered. So if you've only got 45 minutes and your goal is maximum hypertrophy, compound moves look like the obvious king. They're efficient, they recruit more muscle fibers, and they demand more from your body, leading to a greater overall stimulus. They build the foundational strength and mass that beginners especially need to establish a strong base. Before you crown squats as the undisputed champion forever and ditch everything else, remember that isolation exercises have their own superpowers. They let you meticulously attack lagging heads of a muscle or specific parts that just aren't growing, all without absolutely lighting up your nervous system. For instance, some EMG studies have found that peak quad activation during leg extensions can actually exceed that of squats in specific parts of the muscle, like the rectus femoris, that coveted teardrop muscle. So here's the translation. Compounds build the house, giving you that solid, impressive structure. Isolations, on the other hand, sculpt the trim, adding those crucial details and proportions that make the house look truly finished. The real question then isn't which one is better per se, but how fast each style actually helps you lay down new bricks. Now, when we talk about muscle growth, at its core, it's nothing more complicated than protein synthesis minus protein breakdown, consistently happening over time. We can measure acute spikes in protein synthesis right after a workout, but real-world speed is measured in actual centimeters on a tape measure or extra kilos on the bar after 12 solid weeks of training. That's where the rubber meets the road. A fascinating meta-analysis published in Sports Medicine directly compared programs that use only multi-joint lifts against those that use only single-joint lifts. Crucially, they matched the total weekly training volume between both groups. The results? Both groups gained statistically identical muscle thickness. So, in theory, you could just grow just as fast either way, right? Seems like a wash. But here's the crucial catch, and it's a big one. The compound group added twice the strength on their big lifts. Think about it. They were able to lift significantly heavier weights in the next training block. Why does that matter? Because progressive overload, the continuous increase in demand placed on the muscle, is the undisputed, non-negotiable driver of long-term hypertrophy. It's what forces your muscles to adapt and grow bigger and stronger. Therefore, the style of training that lets you add weight or reps quickest is ultimately the style that builds muscle quickest. And in that race, compound lifts win, hands down. You can consistently microload 2.5 kg plates or even smaller fractional plates week after week on a squat or a deadlift. That is something utterly impossible on wrist curls or lateral raises without turning to a literal contortionist just to manage the weight. Add to that the neural efficiency you gain from learning and refining your complex movement patterns, your brain gets better at recruiting muscle fibers. This combination creates a strength curveball that snowballs, dragging muscle size along behind it like a trailer. Isolation moves just don't scale the same way. Past a certain point, you're adding resistance bands, doing endless drop sets, or even resorting to some colorful Instagram post that swears that you will feel something from this. While they have their place, they typically just don't offer the same long-term progressive overload potential as the big compound movements. So for raw speed of size, for getting objectively bigger, compounds take that checkered flag, provided you load them aggressively, focus on perfect form, and recover like a professional athlete. But we're not done yet, because bodybuilding isn't only about getting bigger, it's about also getting better too. Now, think of it this way. A car is only as fast as its weakest tire. Similarly, your physique is only as impressive and balanced as its smallest, most underdeveloped link. And let's be honest, we all have them. Usually, it's those stubborn rear delts, a flat upper chest, or the medial quad that just refuses to pop. You can bench press heavy every Monday until you're blue in the face, but if your triceps and front delts are hogging all the load, that flat upper chest just isn't going anywhere. Now, this is precisely where isolation exercises become rocket fuel. By placing the target muscle under constant tension and stripping away the assistance from other stronger muscle groups, you can drive incredibly specific local hypertrophy without piling on excessive systemic fatigue. Physical therapists have been using this principle for decades to rebuild atrophied muscle post-surgery, understanding the power of focused, isolated work. If a particular muscle is clearly lagging, hitting it with 3 to 4 sets of direct, focused work 2 or even 3 times a week can bring it up dramatically in as little as 6 to 8 weeks. That's something you rarely achieve by just pushing more weight on a big bar and hoping for the best. The key though is to strategically sandwich these isolations after your heavy compound work. That way, you're not limited by a fried nervous system or compromised strength when you hit your main lifts. Do this right, and you're effectively patching the weak tire while still flooring the accelerator on your overall progress. You'll achieve a more balanced, aesthetically pleasing physique and reduce the risk of injury due to imbalances. If you just started lifting last month, congratulations, you're in the prime of your newbie gains. And for you, the absolute fastest route from zero to hero is mastering 5 basic human movements: the push, the pull, the hinge, the squat, and the carry. Get strong at those, and I mean truly strong, and you'll be outgrowing your t-shirts before you even learn how to spell superset. A 2019 study on untrained college students found that just squats and bench press alone add a remarkable 2.3 kilograms of lean mass in only 8 weeks. No curls required, no fancy machines. For a beginner, the efficiency and systemic stimulus of compound exercises are paramount. Isolation work at this initial stage is optional seasoning. The steak, the main course, is still compound overload. Focusing on mastering these key lifts build foundational strength, coordination, and overall muscle mass far more effectively than a routine full of machine exercises. But once you cross that 2-year mark like me, who's been training for 6 years, once you've been consistently under the bar, adding newbie gains, those newbie gains just slow to a crawl. Adding 5 kilos to the bar now takes months, not just a few workouts. This is where strategic isolation truly earns their keep. They allow you to keep your total training volume climbing, which is essential for continued growth, without turning every single session into a NASA recovery mission. Think of compounds as your reliable salary, your main source of income, and isolations, they're your side hustle. Together, they beat inflation when your main income starts to stagnate, ensuring continuous progress and muscle development. Now, let's be real. Squats to failure leave you lying on the floor, questioning every life choice you've ever made. Leg extensions to failure, you're probably just scrolling through TikTok between sets. The difference in fatigue signature between these two types of movements is massive. This is a critical point for maximizing your growth, because isolation exercises are less taxing on your central nervous system. You can schedule them more frequently without completely sabotaging your next workout. And what does higher frequency mean? It means more weekly protein synthesis spikes for those stubborn muscle parts, which, you guessed it, equals faster growth. The trick then is matching the right tool to your recovery budget. Big, heavy barbell moves cost a lot in terms of both physical and mental energy, so spend them wisely. Early in the week or early in your workout when your energy is high and your nervous system is fresh. Save the cheaper machine work, the cables, and the band exercises for later in the week or later in your workout. You still get a fantastic growth stimulus without incurring a massive tax bill on your systemic fatigue. Do this right, and you could effectively hit every major muscle group 2 or even 3 times in 7 days. A volume and frequency shown to maximize hypertrophy in trained lifters, all without having to live permanently in sweatpants. It's about smart programming, not just brute force. Now enough theory. Let's talk about how to apply this to your training. Instead of a cookie cutter routine, here are the core principles you can use to structure any workout plan for better, faster growth. Now first, lead with strength. Always start your workout with your primary, heaviest compound lift for the day. This is your main event, your squats, your deadlifts, your bench presses, or overhead presses. Do it when you're freshest. Focus on the 4 to 8 rep range, where your main goal over time is adding more weight to the bar. Now secondly, follow with volume. After your main lift, move to your secondary compound movement. These are your assistant lifts, like dumbbell presses, rows, or lunges. Here, your shift is on the classic 8 to 12 rep hypertrophy range. Think of it as building the bulk of your size after laying the strength foundation. Third is to isolate and annihilate. Finish your workout with isolation exercises. This is where you bring up weak points and chase the pump. Think bicep curls, lateral raises, leg extensions, or tricep pushdowns. Use higher reps, maybe 12 to 15 or more, and focus on perfect form and feeling the muscle work, the mind-muscle connection. Finally, progress intelligently. For your heavy compounds, your main goal is adding weight. When you can hit your target reps and sets cleanly, add a small amount of weight. For your isolation work, focus on quality first. Try to add a rep or two, slow down to negative, or get a better contraction before you even think about grabbing a heavier dumbbell. Whether you're running a push-pull leg split, an upper-lower split, or full body split. Applying these principles will ensure you're getting the best of both worlds, driving both strength and aesthetic focused muscle growth. If you want these exact principles formatted in a slick 90-day free workout plan, you can grab my free 90-day aesthetics workout plan, link in the description below. There's no hoops at all to jump through, just pure unadulterated help. And while you're down there, do me a huge favor and smash that subscribe button so you don't miss next week's video. And when you're down there, do me a huge favor and smash that subscribe button and make sure to leave a like on the video. Even with the best plan, there are always traps waiting to derail your progress. Now, the first trap is turning every compound lift into a circus act. Look, you don't need to be barbell snatching on day one. Master proper bracing, maintain a full range of motion, and perfect your form first. Focus on being strong, not just looking strong. Trying to lift too much too soon with proper form is a recipe for injury, not growth. Now, the second trap is chasing the pump like it's 1998. Endless drop sets, curls, or lateral raises might feel productive to you, giving you that satisfying temporary fullness. But if you haven't built the foundational strength to roll your body weight for 10 solid reps, those arms are going to stay stringy, no matter how much you pump them. The pump is a byproduct of effective training, not the goal itself. Focus on mechanical tension and progressive overload, and then the pump will follow. The third trap, and this is a big one, program add. You jump onto a program, run it for a week or two, don't see instant results, and you just ditch it for the next shiny thing you see online. Muscle takes time to sign the lease and settle in. Don't evict it after the first week just because the scale hasn't moved or because you haven't seen a vein pop yet. Commit to a plan for a minimum of 6 to 8 weeks, ideally 12 to be honest, before you declare it useless. Trust me, I've been on almost the exact same plan that I've been on maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and guess what? There's very minimal changes that I've made to it, but I still keep seeing growth. So because of it, I still use it to this day. Because guess what? When it comes to building muscle, consistency is king. So trust the process. Now, let's simplify this. Compound lifts, they're the powerful engine of your physique. Isolation lifts, they're the precise steering wheel. An engine without steering will just slam into a wall, fast and hard, without getting anywhere useful. And steering without an engine, well, it just sits there, looking shiny but utterly immobile. You need both of them, working in perfect harmony. Use those big, heavy compound movements to drive the horsepower of progressive overload, building raw strength and overall mass. Then, you use your isolation exercises to precisely steer your weekly volume and attention towards those specific muscles that refuse to grow or to bring up lagging body parts for a more balanced aesthetic. Do both. Do them hard, do them consistently, and watch the speed limit on your muscle growth jump dramatically. Ignore either side, and you're stuck spinning your wheels, sweating plenty, but moving nowhere fast. So, the next time you walk into the gym, I want you to ask yourself one crucial question. Am I here to just burn time? Or am I here to truly build tissue? Choose the compound exercises that challenges you. Maybe even scares you a little bit, honestly. Load it intelligently. Focus on perfect form and chase that rep PR week after week. Then, and only then, finish your workout with the isolation exercise that makes your target muscle cramp and burn on that very last rep. That, my friends, is the shortcut. There's no secret exercise, no obscure rushing squat program, just the strategic, intelligent use of tools that are already on the rack that's right in front of you. Stop treating compounds and isolation exercises like rival football teams. They're not your enemies. They're both on your side, working towards the same goal. Use them together, understand their unique strengths, and you won't just build muscle faster, you'll build a physique that lasts a lifetime. Now, Quit overthinking, pick up that bar, and earn your next inch. I'll see you in the next one.